Hello, hello, sweet friend. I'm delighted to have you here today with me because together we are going to learn from the amazing Megan Ruth Stoddard. She is the amazing human behind Elevate Empire, a fabulous community of humans all interested in elevating where they are in life right now. Megan specializes in human design, and I won't steal her thunder by explaining everything behind human design because that's what we are about to learn. But I do want to talk for a moment about science and quantum physics and about how all of these factors that quantum physicists are discovering have a direct impact on us and the lens through which we can view human design, which Megan is going to talk about in a moment. So, when we consider quantum physics, I'm certain you can remember back to some sort of science class that spoke about atoms, right? So, back in the day, we thought that atoms were the very smallest particles in the universe. And then we discovered subatomic particles like quarks and other things like that. And as quantum physicists are discovering tinier and tinier particles, it's becoming more and more clear that everything from the furniture in our homes to the clothes that we wear, our accessories, to us ourselves as human beings are all made up of the very same subatomic particles. So everything is made of exactly the same energy. And quantum physicists are also proving that the energetic impact of somebody's subatomic particles can have an energetic ripple effect onto what is happening with the subatomic particles around us. And so there's a really great experiment called the slit experiment that shows that even just simple observations by scientists on energy causes an impact, causes a ripple effect that impacts the study itself. It's super fascinating. Google it. And actually, if you are super interested in learning more about quantum physics and what physicists are finding out, not just about our reality and our day-to-day lives, but the impact that that can have on a universal scale, on metaphysics, on how we view our spirituality and things like that, please pick up Michio Kaku's The God Equation. It is such an amazing book and explains quantum physics in a very understandable way. I'm not a scientist, and this was very easy to understand. And Michio has an amazing pattern of speaking, pattern of writing, where he makes some of these really high-level concepts very understandable. And if you are interested beyond the scope of human design, which Megan will tell us about, on how these quantum physics facts and theories and concepts can impact your behavior and your life, I also super recommend A Happy Pocket Full of Money by David Cameron Gandhi. It explains a lot of the practices that we as amazing humans can go through to make use of some of these quantum physics theories that are being studied in labs and how we can use them on our own lives. So I just wanted to digress for a moment into quantum physics because it has a direct relation on our impact and on our ability to understand human design. So if in laboratories, scientists are finding that something as simple as observation, observing an experiment, observing energy, can have a huge impact on the energy itself, then the things that human design values, such as when you were born and where you were born, can have an impact on us. So if all energy is made up of the same subatomic particles, if everything is that energetic subatomic makeup, then the ripple effects of when and where we are born can have a huge impact on how it is that we function or how it is that we choose to enact behaviors in our life, and how it might be that we feel either oppressed by somebody else's patterns or structure or schedule, and how we might function best. So, for example, you might think about like morning people or night owls. Those can have a huge impact on when you know if you are more productive in the morning. That can have a great impact on feeling inspired while you're writing your novel, for example, or doing whatever it is that you want to do to better yourself. So human design can lead you to more deep knowings about yourself. And more deep knowings can lead you to having a deeper, more beautiful, more productive and efficient and inspired relationship with yourself. So, all of that to say, sit back, relax, and get ready for the wisdom that Megan is about to lay out for us. In a moment, we're going to segue into her content. And this is a masterclass that she taught on the introductions to human design to give you and to give the people that she was teaching at the time for the masterclass a very good foundational view and understanding of how human design can have an amazing and outstanding and remarkable impact on our lives. And I'm so excited to share this with you. So sit back, relax, and enjoy learning from the amazing Megan Ruth Stoddard, expert in human design.
You're at your command center, Lynette. I love it. That's how it used to be for me too, until I made our girls share a room. My bed was my command center. And then I forced a room sharing situation. It's been great. Okay, well, so if you're watching on Facebook, I will keep an eye on the comments over there. And I will be mostly over on Zoom though. So if I don't catch your question right away, just give me a second, I'll come to it, I promise. I won't leave you hanging. So any questions before we get started? Okay, I am going to present from Canva. Usually I just do it directly from my computer, but we're gonna do this, maybe. Thank you guys for being patient. Okay, can you guys see my slides? I know that's like the cliche question always for Zoom. Let's see, I can only see a few people. Katie, can you see my slides? Give me a thumbs up, perfect, okay, cool. I'm actually gonna open the chat. There we go, perfect. I'm actually gonna close faces and just leave the chat open. That way I can actually see what you guys are saying. Cool, okay, oh my gosh. Human Design 101. So I wanna know, first of all, on a scale of 1 to 10, how familiar are you with human design? How much do you know? 1, 2, 2, 5, 5, 3. Perfect. You guys are in the right place. 2, 5. Cool. Okay. This is perfect for anywhere from a 1 to a 10. So this is great. All right. So isn't this pretty? Look at how pretty these pictures are. I wish I could take credit for having made them, but I cannot. Okay. So there we go. Okay. Human design. So what it is, just in a nutshell, I do have a podcast if you want to go more in depth on this stuff. The first part of my 2-part series of human design, like what is human design? I go more in depth on these, but human design is essentially, it combines these 5 systems. So it's, you know, it's kind of a combination of what might seem woo-woo / also science. So it's both. We get a little bit of both here, which is my favorite because I love combining the woo and spirituality right along with science. That's my favorite when those two kind of collide and they merge. That is everything to me. And it just, I also would love to know, where are you on the scale of spirituality, science, both, all of that? I would love to know where you're at with all of that, because I used to be super skeptical of this. I thought that this was weird and woo-woo and didn't make, like, I thought it was just one of those things that people would talk about to help them feel better about themselves. And then I actually learned about it and it makes so much sense. So like I said, I'm not going to go too into depth into what all of these are. I was a hippie in my previous life. Yeah, I believe that. I totally believe that. That's my sister. You like woo that has a little bit of science that I can grasp. Yes, yes, yes. That's right where I was. And I mean, basically where I still am. I like to be able to understand why something is the way that it is. So the Kabbalistic tree of life, that is kind of, I'm trying to remember. Okay, so you see all of these centers over here. Can you guys see where I'm pointing? I think my arrow is going a little bit. So yeah, okay. So all of these like centers over here, this is my chart right here. You get a cute little view of my chart. Catherine, I'm very spiritual now, but understand the science too. Yes, I love that. So all of these centers here, that's where the Kabbalistic tree of life comes in. The I Ching hexagram, that's like the gates and everything. Audrey, I used to be super skeptical. I lean more towards science, but loving learning more about spirituality. Yes, that's kind of how I am. I used to think that spirituality was sort of one thing. And then since learning that spirituality is so more multifaceted and there's so many approaches to it, oh, I love it. And then we've got astrology, right? Which was the biggest thing that I was like, that's weird. Like your mood is not determined by the planets, but actually we are like 70% water and the moon has a huge impact on water, right? So why would that not be true of the rest of the universe? That was kind of the thing that made sense for me. We're very, very affected by the sun. And we also know that we're affected by the moon. So why would it not be true for the rest of the planets in our solar system or beyond, right? So your human design is determined by the placement of, I mean, one aspect of your human design is determined by the placement of like where all the planets are when you're born, right? And that's why you needed to have your birth time, your birth date, and the location of your birth, because where you are in relation to the rest of the universe, right? Like if you're here versus here, it's going to be different energy that's hitting you the moment you're born, right? And then now I know the moon cycle, then it clicked. Yeah. And then we've got our chakra system, right? Which kind of also correlates with these energy centers here, which we'll be going over the energy centers on Wednesday. So good. So good. And then lastly, the quantum physics aspect of it. I could nerd out on that with you for like a solid week on just the quantum physics. When I went through my master practitioner certification, we just had an entire day just on quantum physics and it's wild. It's wild, you guys. It's so freaking cool. I realize I'm a woo and half on the woo-woo scale. A woo and a half. Laura, I love that. That's amazing. So it's a bunch of these things. They all fit so seamlessly together. They all make sense. Someone just someone just brought them all together so that we could make sense out of all of them. So it's not just like, okay, well, I believe in this, but not this and that and not that. They're all working together. Like they have already been working together. You know, it's like when you go throughout your life not being aware of something, but it's always been there. Same thing. All of these things have just always been there. We've always been affected by them. And now that we get to understand them, we can use it to our benefit so that we can better understand ourselves and the people around us, and like, you know, give ourselves permission to live the way that we were designed to live. Our energy does not have to match anyone else's energy. We get to just have our own energy. How awesome is that? So who's ready to dive in? Are we ready? Let me just check Facebook. I need to have a dual screen here. That's what I need. Okay. Okay, we've got Sheena. Okay, Sheena, hi. We've got Sheena and LaFern are on Facebook. Okay, hi, you guys. Yes, I'm not going to ignore you over on Facebook. Cool, cool, cool. Sheena's super woo, but love when the science backs it up. Sounds like, yeah, you guys are my people. You guys are my people, for sure. All right, so who here is a generator? Yes, Laura knows Sheena and LaFern. Sammy, you're a generator. Katie, you're a generator, right? Catherine. Wendy. Andrew, you're a manifesting generator. Cool. I'll be going over that one next as well. You'll get your own little, I'm going to go through each of these types and strategies. We're just going to keep it with that for today. And I'm still going to try to keep it to under an hour. There's so much I want to talk about. How do you figure that out again? Heather, okay. Heather is one of my former one-on-one clients, and she's someone that I work with a lot. Don't you have your chart somewhere, Heather? I'm trying to remember what you are. I want to say you were a projector, but I can't remember now. Yes, but it didn't say. Oh yeah, go to jovianarchive.com. Go to that one. That will be easier to see your type. So jovianarchive.com is a great place to go just to get a quick, to see your type. Yeah, okay, let me know when you find out, Heather. So generators make up 37% of the population. So most people, and that's not including manifesting generators, because manifesting generators are a subtype of generators. So they're a generator by type, and they have manifestor qualities also in their chart. So most of the population is a generator of some kind. And I'm not gonna lie, when I first found out that I was a generator, I was a little bit bummed because I like to be special. And I was like, oh, most people are a generator. Well, that's boring. But the world needs us. The world needs generators for so many reasons. And there's a reason why most of us are generators, okay? So it's a good thing. It's a superpower. Oh yes, LaFern, you're a projector. I did know that. You projectors fascinate me. Also, if anyone is a reflector, I need to know because I still have yet to meet a reflector, but we'll get there. All right, come on, computer. Here we go. Oopsie. All right, so let's dive in. Okay, and actually, do you know what? Let's back up for a second. I just want you guys to know that as you dive into the world of human design, you will often hear people talking about like your aura. Each type has a different type of aura, right? So like generators are known for having an open and enveloping aura. The thing is, your aura is determined by how you are aligned with your energy. So if you are aligned with your energy, then it has the potential to be open and enveloping. Whereas if you are acting based out of fear, or you're not self-themes, which we'll get into later, then your aura is going to shift and it's going to be different, right? We all have, and again, aura, that's something that I thought was super weird and made up. But we all have an aura because we all have energy, right? Like energy is flowing through our body every second of every moment of every day. That's why we're alive. If we were not alive, we would not have any kind of energy. Every time you have a thought in your head, those neural connections are made, those synapses fire, and that creates energy. Thoughts are energy. Our heart is beating, that creates energy. And so when we have these thoughts, they move throughout our entire body. And that I talk about more in the subconscious mind mastery workshop that I ran. That one is also free. It might not remain free, just a heads up. But anyways, when your thoughts and your actions are in alignment with your type, then your aura gets to be what it has the potential to be, right? And if you're living out of alignment with your type, with your strategy, with your authority, with all of the things, then your aura is not going to be working for your benefit as much. So if you, as you hear me talking about auras, which I won't talk about a ton, but as you hear me talking about it, and as you hear it more, as you learn more about human design, just know that you are the one who is affecting your own aura. It's not static, right? I just wanted to get that out there. So generators. We love generators. We love all the types. So I'm gonna say that these are my favorite because they're all my favorite. Every single time, I'm gonna say it's my favorite. And Heather, based off the birth time we got from the other site, manifesting generator. Okay, cool. Perfect. So I will be talking about MGs next. So generators, we're energy types. There are 3 energy types. Now I'm testing my memorized knowledge. But generators are an energy type. We're here to build and do the work. And there's a lot of us who are sort of trying to rewrite the narrative around that, because it used to kind of be believed that, well, generators are here to bear the burden of all the work. And it's not like that at all. We have a sustainable life force energy because of this defined sacral. And don't worry too much as I'm talking about the different centers, because I'll get into that on Wednesday. So just know that because we have a defined sacral, we have a sustainable access to energy to do work that is correct for us. So if you are in like a job that you do not enjoy, if you are accomplishing things that aren't lighting you up, that you don't feel called to do, you're going to burn out because it's not correct for you, and you don't have the energy, you don't have access to the sustainable energy because it's not correct for you. And I'm going to show you how to find out what is correct for you. So hang with me, okay? Just keep in mind that when it is correct for you, you basically have access to infinite energy to accomplish that thing from beginning to end. So pretty freaking cool. And we'll kind of talk about this when I get to the manifestor side, but we're not here to initiate. So we can pick up on the initiation of a manifestor or someone else and then take it and run with it. It's like someone else lights a match for us and we like that light, and that light is for us. It's our light. We take that match and we turn it into this big blazing bonfire that can just go and go and go. So and I know that you felt that. So if you're a generator, I want you to tell me if you have ever felt a time when you were working on a project that you were so freaking excited about it and you just felt like you could work all day, all night. You could just keep going. You didn't want to stop. Yes. Yes, it's a thing. And that's because it was correct for you. It doesn't have to be productive. It doesn't have to have a specific purpose. As long as it is correct for you, you've got all the energy in the world for it. Yes. All right, just checking Facebook. Okay, I don't think I've missed any comments over there. Cool. And then because of that, yes, it's definitely switch off. It's not for me, yeah. Because we have this defined sacral and we are able to just keep going and keep working on these things that we enjoy, that are designed for us. And the things that are correct for us are going to be determined by so many things that we won't even have time to get into today or this week at all, but the why doesn't necessarily matter. As long as you stick with me these 3 days, you're going to know exactly how to make decisions for what is correct for you. And then you get to just master those skills. Because we have that sustainable fire, that sustainable energy, we're really good at just mastering these things that we enjoy, right? Thinking about skills, whether it's something applicable in the workforce or just like a talent, a hobby, something simple like that, or something random, like you're really good at mowing the lawn, it doesn't have to be anything big, but I'm sure you've noticed now that you're thinking about it, you're really good at just getting good at something, or speaking a foreign language, or accents, or yes, I'm looking at you, Katie, because you're right in my face. My cousin is like the queen of all the accents and all of that. So that's just a natural skill that we have as generators. It's just being able to master things because they're correct for us and we have the energy to do so. And we'll get into this soon here as I start to tell you about your strategy as a generator. But you're a magnet. You are a magnet for life. Life just comes to you. And again, when you're living in alignment to your design and your aura is working for your benefit and for your purpose, it just draws life to you. And so you have so many opportunities to respond to life and to receive the things that you desire. And life gets to be so much easier than you're making it out to be. So I also would like to know, for my generators, how often do you feel like you just can't ever get that thing that you want? How often do you feel frustrated that you just can't make that thing happen? That was me for most of my life. I would just get frustrated that I couldn't make X amount of money. I would get frustrated that I couldn't make this thing happen. Yes, some things that I want. And again, that's something that I'll get to in a little bit, but that frustration is going to be the key to understanding when you're out of alignment. In fact, I probably should just talk about that because I don't think I put that on here, but every type has something called a not self theme. And all I want you to know about that not self theme, so you look at your chart and you're going to see that not self theme. For generators, it's frustration. So whenever you're experiencing that frustration, that's simply your indicator that somewhere you're living out of alignment to your natural energy. And that's going to come back to the strategy, which I will talk about here in just a second.
Hello, beautiful human. Editing Kayla here. I'm so excited to see you, and I'm just popping in to say that this video is brought to you by Braveheart Open Mind's free replay policy. Because here at Braveheart Open Mind, we believe that every human person should have access to self-love resources, and not just any self-love resources. Self-love resources and support of the quality that people would pay tens or hundreds or thousands of dollars for, because everyone deserves to have that level of support for their own sweet, juicy, delicious self-love. And if the idea of this movement to create self-love resources that are accessible to everyone, no matter what their financial resources are, I am so excited to invite you to join the Braveheart Open Mind movement on Patreon so that you can support every single human person with internet access to YouTube to be able to love themselves more deeply and fully and richly. So you can totally hop on Patreon if that sounds like a movement that aligns with your heart, with your soul, if that movement sounds like something that you would desire to be a part of and contribute to. And if you find yourself sitting here thinking, I don't have the money to do that, I don't have the money to pay for things like this, that is why we're here. You are the reason why we are doing all of this. If you are sitting there saying that to yourself, because you deserve the same resources and opportunities that everyone else has. And Braveheart Open Mind is here to bring that to you by posting all of the replays of our live experiences on YouTube for you to be able to participate in after the fact. So, if you want to join the Braveheart Open Mind movement, you can enjoy the videos here, hit like and subscribe to be a part of the YouTube community, or join us on Patreon, or join us at any of our live paid events, because joining any of the live paid events helps to contribute to the replay being posted for free after the fact. So, you're officially invited to join in any of those capacities that feel good. And I love you so, so much. Now, back to the video.
I just want to make sure I'm hitting up all of my notes. I'm kind of going off script a little bit. Okay, just want to make sure my Facebook people are still doing good. So, tremendous amount of sustainable energy. You're going to feel stuck and frustrated if you're not doing the right kind of work. So again, if you're in a job that you just are not excited about, you don't like your job, or you've committed to certain obligations that don't feel correct for you, you're going to feel frustrated, you're going to feel stuck. And those things that are not correct for you, obviously they're going to be different than the next person. So while one job might be really, really great. Like I love what I do, but I know that there are people who would be so frustrated if they tried to be a coach like I am, because it's not correct for them, but it's correct for me. So anyone who ever tries to sell you on some kind of one size fits all idea, you take it upon yourself to decide whether it makes sense for you, because one size fits all does not make sense in any capacity in life. And so coming back to this is going to take us into your strategy. Your strategy is to respond, to wait to respond to things. And you might have a fear that if you just sit and wait to have something to respond to, that nothing's ever going to happen. That was my big old fatty fear when I first learned about my strategy. Catherine, I struggle with this. Yeah, that was the biggest thing. When I first started learning about human design last year, I was like, okay, so my strategy is to respond. So that means I'm not supposed to initiate. So manifestors, they get to initiate. How do we take action? Okay, so this is the good stuff. I love this. So like I said, this was so tricky for me. And manifesting generators, make sure you're paying attention as well, because this also applies to you. All of this does, really, along with just you'll have other facets to your type. So I thought that to respond meant to just sit here, sit on my hands, sit on my butt, and wait for someone to ask me a question. I thought it meant that I had to wait for someone to say, hey, Megan, do you want to do this thing? And I was like, well, I can't. I'm an entrepreneur. I run my own business. I can't wait for someone else to ask me what I want to do. You know, I mean, I always was a really good employee, because if my boss would ask me to do something, I would just do it. But now I'm my own boss. I can't just, or like as a mom, like, are you just supposed to sit and wait, you know, have your baby ask you, hey, mommy, do you want to feed me? Let me think about that. Let me respond. No, that's not what it means to respond. So if that was your thought process, I feel you. It's okay. Here's the thing. Like I mentioned before, when you are living in accordance to your type, to your strategy, to all of these things, your very being, just existing, draws life to you. Life comes to you. You just have to sit for a second. It doesn't have to be a year. Just sit for a second and start paying attention. Life already, right now, life gives you so many opportunities to respond. Life is always coming to you. So maybe someone gives a suggestion, you hear some random idea on TV, seeing literally anything. Something I did to sort of practice this response mode when I first learned about it was, so housework, not my fave. I'm not great at housework. I'll do really good for like a day, and then it'll be a disaster again. Anyone want to take a little hint at what mode my house is in right now? It's definitely in disaster mode, and that's okay. But what I would do is, when I knew that it was time to do same mode as my house. Yeah. It's my sister. It's okay. When I knew it was time for me to get some housework done, because my anxiety goes way down when my house is clean. So I also know that. So what I would do is, instead of trying to come up with this plan, because I'm like, I don't want to set up a plan. It doesn't feel good for me. It might feel good for you. For me, I learned to just sit down for a second, look around my house, and that gave me opportunity to respond. Looking at something, you know, I would look at the dishes in my kitchen. I would look at the laundry that needed to be folded. I would look at the clutter on the fireplace. I would look at these things, and then I would get that gut response. So this response comes from your sacral center. What's up? I don't care. If you can get it open, you can have it. My 5-year-old basically gets whatever she wants when I'm on these calls. So this response, it comes from your sacral center. So that gut response. So if I'm looking at my dishes and that's correct for me, I'll be like, I just need to get those done. That's what needs to happen right now. That's a response. I didn't have to wait for someone to ask me if I wanted to do the dishes. I looked at them, and that gave me an opportunity to respond. And then same thing with, like, if I'm listening to a podcast and they share something kind of cool, and I'm like, oh, that could be kind of a fun thing to do in my business. I let it trickle down my body into my gut area. And then I get to respond and feel it out. And it's a very kind of a guttural thing, like a mm-hmm or mm-mm, no, mm-mm. And so kind of just practicing feeling that gut center, that sacral center. So if you're looking on your chart, it's the second one up from the bottom in the middle. So if you're a generator or manifesting generator, you're going to have that colored in. The colors don't matter. Oh, I need to make sure. Okay, someone's joining. Okay, Heather's rejoining. Heather left and she came back. Cool. So basically, so is it basically if I want to do something, then see how it feels? Yes. And then the other thing is there's so many aspects of your chart that might, oh my gosh, you guys, there's so much involved here. So if you get an idea, you might feel pressure to act on that idea, but you let it trickle down into your sacral center, and that's where you make your decision from. Basically, no one is ever designed to make decisions from their head. Oopsie. I'm trying to move things around on my screen and I'm making things go crazy. Okay, there we go. I can see you guys again. Makes a lot of sense as everything has been from my gut. Yep. And a good way to just practice this as well is to find someone that you trust, like a significant other or a best friend or some, family member, and just have them asking you yes or no questions. Like for me, I realized that I was doing really well when my husband would ask me, instead of saying, hey, where do you want to eat tonight? I'd be like, I don't know. Instead of saying, okay, do you want Chick-fil-A? Do you want Taco Bell? Do you want Olive Garden? Do you want sushi? Like, do you want Chick-fil-A? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I want. That sounds good. Or do you want Taco Bell? So just kind of practicing those yes or no questions. So any questions about your strategy? I'm already taking a lot of time, so I'm trying to go fast so I don't have to keep you guys here for an hour and a half. So just really starting to pay attention to that gut feeling and getting vocal with it. The more you get vocal with it, the more comfortable you're going to get with it. Knowing that an mm-hmm or yeah, for sure is a positive. It's an affirmative. If you get that nah, I don't want to do that. That's your red light. And if you get kind of a yellow light response, like, I don't know, I'm not really sure, that means no for now, or ask me in another way. Okay, so it either means not right now, or so I also kind of think about it like the magic 8-ball. You shake it, and if you get like ask me again later, or ask me in another way, that's your yellow light. So you've got a green light, a yellow light, and a red light. Practice those. That is your strategy. That's what you're always going to come back to. Even when we go over centers on Wednesday and your authority tomorrow, it's always going to come to your strategy to respond. I love this. So when you are living in your highest expression, when you are living in your fullest, totally aligned, you're going to be so energized. You're going to have so much energy. You're going to be super self-aware. You're going to have a super sustainable kind of energy, again, for the correct kind of work, the kind of activities that light you up, that make you so excited. Like, I mean, you've seen me talking about human design. You see how geek out I get over human design, right? Like, I get excited about this crap. It's so freaking cool, and I love it. It's correct for me. Many of you know that I used to be a health coach. It was not exciting me to talk about nutrition. I pay very close attention to my nutrition. I love working out. I still love all of that stuff. But it doesn't light me up anymore to talk about it all the time. It wasn't correct for me anymore. And that's okay. Things can change. And you will also be a master of whatever it is that you want to master. You'll be really good at it, really skilled, really talented. If you are living in the lower expression of your design, if you're living out of alignment, unaligned, trying to force yourself to fit someone else's rules or energetic patterns, you're going to often feel frustrated. You're going to quit things too soon. You're going to get frustrated because you're trying to just make it happen. That's not what you're made for. You're not made to just make it happen. You're designed to wait to respond, right? And you might feel stuck doing something that just is draining you and does not feel correct for you. And then go ahead and take a screenshot of this. I have some affirmations for each of these types. And don't worry, I'll also be uploading this replay as well. But these are your affirmations. Stick to these, repeat these to yourself, rewrite them in a way that feels best for you. Because again, I wrote these feel good to me. I'm a generator, I dig these, but they might not feel as good for you. So take the liberty of rewriting these in a way that makes the most sense for you and stick to them. Remind yourself that this is who you are. All right, we're gonna go ahead into manifesting generators now. My generators, if you have any questions for me, feel free to let me know, because I'm kind of trying to just breeze on through, not through. Apparently my words don't always like to work. All right, so again, manifesting generators, you are a generator by type with manifesting qualities. You make up 33% of the population. So you see how generators are the majority, right? It's like, what's 33 plus 37, like 70% or something like that? I don't do math, so I don't know if that's correct. But it's most of us, right? But there are differences. There are definitely just differences. You manifesting generators are still totally unique. You're still your very own breed as well. You just have a lot of similarities with generators. You're also going to share some traits and qualities with manifestors. So here we go. I'm going to move this up here. Okay. You're a multitasker. Okay. Who are my manifesting generators? Leave a comment. I know that Sheena's a manifesting generator. Who else is a manifesting generator? Amtree. Melissa, oh, damn, my sister. My sister's a managen. Heather. Cool. My husband and both of my daughters are manifesting generators, so I'm surrounded by them. And I will say, and I'm going to share this in a little bit, but I'm going to let you know how knowing your type and your family's types is so helpful. So we're going to start right here with the multitasker. You were designed to be able to do several things at once, as long as they're all correct for you, right? You're going to have, you still have that defined sacral center. So you've got that sustainable energy to do all of the things, And that's very much my husband. My husband has so many thoughts, so many things that he wants to do, like both short-term and long-term. Like he's in PT school and he also has just picked up the habit of making candles just because that sounded fun to him. And he's been loving it. Like I've got 2 in here. I've got like 5 out in our living room. And it used to stress me out. He would talk about all of these ideas of all of these like investment opportunities and all of these like business ideas and all of these other like fun hobbies that he wants to do. And it used to stress me out because I was like, that is so much. And so I was just kind of like, yeah, okay, honey, sure, whatever you say. And now that I know that he's a manifesting generator, I know that he absolutely can. I'm not meant to do all of those things, but he totally can, because you manifesting generators, you have all of this stuff and you can do it quickly. Because again, you've got that defined sacral, you've got that energy. And because you enjoy doing all of those things, you've got such an amazing potential and amazing capacity to create all of the things and accomplish tasks and processes so quickly, faster than pretty much any other type. And you have a dual strategy, which is so freaking cool. Like this is so cool because you're this hybrid type, right? Manifesting generator. You get to utilize that dual strategy to clarify what is correct for you, clarify your life's path, clarify your purpose even more. Ah, so cool. So your strategy is to respond and inform. And so basically, okay, so just what it says here, you can use your manifestor side, the manifestor aspect of your energy, to inform others. And as you inform others of what you're going to be doing, and I'll get into the informing side of things in just a second, but basically that stabilizes the energy around you. It helps everyone kind of be on the same page, and it clears the path ahead of you before you act on that green light that you've received from your sacral center, from your gut, right? Before you've gotten that green light from your response mode. So basically you could potentially strike the match and then go turn it into a bonfire. Talk about a superpower, am I right? And the thing is as well, kind of going back to this, being the multitasker, you might kind of seem, and I want to know from my Manny Gens, have you ever had someone tell you that you're kind of all over the place, that you're doing too many things? Yeah, that you're a lot. Because it doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they think. It might seem like that to other people because it seemed like that's what I thought of my husband was, oh, that's a lot. Yes, you roll your eyes at those people. Good, Melissa, I'm a lot. You are a lot, and that's perfect. I'm glad that you're a lot. So that's perfect. If people are telling you that, then you're probably doing the right things. You're probably doing all the right things you need to be doing. And the other thing with this is just to kind of keep in mind that you are a fast worker. You can do things really quickly. It can potentially result in you missing some really important steps along the way. But in the end, you will go back. It just means that you'll end up going back, inserting those steps later on, and then you'll be caught up. It just means that your process is going to look a little bit differently. So if people, if you notice that other people are getting frustrated at you, or you're frustrated at yourself for missing important steps, who decided that the steps needed to be done in that order, right? You're still getting it done. You're still going to be at the same level of mastery as a generator at the end. In fact, it's kind of interesting. If you give a manifesting generator and a generator the same task, the manifesting generator will initially finish it first, and then they'll go back and put in those final missing pieces. And then they'll finish all of that when the generator finishes. The generator just has a little bit more of a slower, deliberate process. And at the end, they'll both be at the same level of mastery. They'll both have the task complete. They're just different processes. So kind of cool, right? So the way that I kind of coach my manifesting generator clients to utilize their strategy is to, again, you get the green light from your sacral, you respond, you wait to respond. So everything that I just said about the strategy for generators applies to you 100%. You get that green light from your gut, and then you tell the people around you what you're going to do. You're not looking for advice. You're not looking for permission. You're just telling others, you're speaking it out to let others know, because that's going to reduce resistance. It's going to sort of pave the path for you so that doing that thing is so much easier for you. So let me know if that makes sense. Let me know if this is vibing. What's the word I'm looking for? You get me. You get me. And so these are you. Where are you on this scale? Are you in the higher expression, the lower expression, somewhere in between, a little bit of both? Heather, explain why we announce again. I mean, so the way stabilizing the energy is the way that it's kind of spoken out. It stabilizes the energy, but also, have you ever done something without telling other people and then they end up getting frustrated or annoyed that you didn't let them know what you were doing? That just adds another level of resistance to your path. Whereas if you just tell people what you're doing, like, hey, I'm going to go do this thing, then they're going to, why no? Heather, I love you. So when you just speak it out, it just helps other people understand where you're at. And so it's for everyone's benefit. It helps them understand what you're going to do. And then that clears the path for you, because they're not going to come in asking you all these questions like, hey, wait, what happened? Why did you do this? Why didn't you tell me what you were doing? Versus, oh, okay, cool. How much easier is that, right? So in your higher expression, when you're living totally aligned, totally in sync, right? You're going to be similar to the generators. You're going to be super energetic. You're also going to be really good at multitasking the things that are correct for you. You're going to be really good at finding the shortcuts, super self-aware, and that really sustainable, long burning energy. And if you're living out of alignment, which we're going to go back and forth, you're never going to always be in one or the other. Okay. But if you're living in your lower expression, if you're living out of alignment, if you're trying to fit into someone else's box, you're going to often feel angry or frustrated. You're going to skip those important steps and beat yourself up over it. You're going to try to just always make things happen, which is not your type. That's trying to be a manifester. You might feel impatient. You're not going to finish what you start. So just let these things that are in the lower expression, they're just like your indicator light, your check engine light, right? Like, oh, okay, these are the things I'm experiencing. How can I go back to my strategy? Okay. All right. Let me just check the Facebook group right quick. I don't think my Facebook is updating very quickly. Guys, this is why I need a virtual assistant. Okay, there we go. Sheena. Oh yeah, so Sheena is one of my manifesting generators. She says she feels like it clears her path. So she's one of the ones that I've coached through this, and she has felt a difference in informing others after she receives that green light from her sacral center. When she informs others, it clears the path. It reduces resistance. It makes your path easier. Lynette, what if you don't know for sure the time of birth? So I actually found a website. Heather had that same struggle. She didn't know the exact time. So you can there's this website, and I can actually share that when I send out this replay. Heather, maybe you can even share a little bit about what it was like. I know my birth time, so I didn't have to go through it, but it's something that kind of helps it like takes you through a bunch of questions to help determine your life, your birth time. You can also do muscle testing. I'm still not super practiced in muscle testing, but that's something that I have on my to-do list like very soon, is to get really practiced with that. And then I'll be able to help clients with that, with muscle testing, to figure out what your birth time is. And that's a whole other topic that I can talk about another time. Heather, so if my husband is gone all week and I want to purge the garage, is that wrong? I wouldn't be informing him. Do you not have any way of contacting him, Heather? And is it your husband that you need to inform? Is there someone else that you can inform? Because it doesn't have to be just one person. Widen your horizons as well. And then here are your, take a screenshot, my Manny Jens. Here's your affirmations. And again, rewrite them in a way that makes the most sense for you, okay? Lynette's for my husband. His birth time isn't on his birth certificate. Yep, that's how it was for, I've actually had a few people say that. So I can send out that. In fact, I'll post the link to that website in the Facebook group. And then I can also send it out in the email later on. So you can try that out. Or if you want to find someone who's really good at muscle testing, if anyone in here is really good at muscle testing and would like to help out in that capacity, that would also be awesome. Heather, let's see. I'm not sure how accurate it was. I knew morning-ish, so answering the questions gave me 9:56 plus or minus. Well, sure, but that takes all the fun out of it. Heather, what kind of fun are you trying to have? That's the next question. Yes, exactly. Informing is, you're not asking permission. You're informing. Not asking for permission. And that's actually something that I'm going to get into with manifestors. So hang tight for a second, Heather. I'm going to talk more about the informing side of things as well. Projectors, raise your hand if you're my projectors. I know we've got a few in here. LaFern, I know, is one. Lara is one. Audrey. All right. Oh, you're a mental projector, Lara. Sweet. So we're going to be talking about authorities tomorrow. So that's where that will come in. I love, love, love it. So your projectors make up like 20% of the population. Lynette, you're a projector. Cool. I always say this, but projectors just fascinate me. So do reflectors, but I still have yet to meet a reflector. And you'll see why in just a minute. But you are 20%, and you are also the newest type. You guys came about in like the late 1700s, when I believe it was oh shoot. This is I don't have all of my human design history memorized yet, but I believe it was the spleen. No, not the spleen. I don't know, because we used to only have like 5 energy centers, and now we have 9, and we're going to have more in 2027. It's a whole thing. So projectors, let's talk about you guys, because you're really cool. All righty. Oh, I have it right here, 1781. That's how long projectors have been in existence. So you are a non-energy type, which is perfect. It's exactly what you're supposed to be. You're a very intuitive, very full of wisdom. You're very wisdomous. Where are my friends' fans? I know at least my sister gets that one. So basically, yeah, due to the way that your energy signature works, like if you look at all of the energy centers that you have that are white, those give you really, really incredible capacity for super vast, super insightful wisdom, okay? Your overarching role, all of you projectors, your like role in the grand scheme of things is to guide all of us into the new era. Like whatever that means throughout history, whatever the next new era is, your role in the collective is to guide us there, is to help us move into that. Because with all of your open centers, you have a really natural inherent gift for recognizing the natural gifts and talents of others. Your gift is recognizing gifts in others. And then because you can see that so clearly, you help us recognize and utilize them. So you're kind of like a natural teacher of sorts, not necessarily feel like teaching exactly like, so here is a skill that I'm going to teach you, but kind of like the sort of teacher, you know the kind of teacher that you have had where they just lift you up with what you already have. Like I actually, now suddenly I'm thinking about it, I wouldn't be surprised if my dad was a projector, because the way that he helps his students, my dad is a music teacher. He's actually retiring this year. Weird. He just always takes these kids and they have these natural gifts and he just helps them bring out more of that, right? That's what you do as projectors. You take people's gifts and you help them just blow it up and utilize it, right? And so you have an open sacral center. So you get bursts of energy. So you receive and amplify the sacral energy of energy types, right? So those of us who have a defined sacral center, we are consistently putting out that generative energy, that sacral energy, that sustainable workforce energy. So when you are around someone like that, you will receive that energy and you get to amplify it. So it's intermittent and they're higher than those with a defined sacral, but they're intermittent. So you don't always have it, okay? I just finished my student teaching with, oh, I didn't know you used my dad as your mentor teacher, Lynette. That's so cool. I love that. Couldn't have had someone better. And then the other thing too, with these energy bursts, with having that open sacral, it means that you also, generally speaking, need more rest than energy types. So you might find yourself needing more naps. You need to go to bed a little bit earlier, maybe sleep in a little bit more. You know, you need rest because you have this burst of energy and then your sacral center is drained out and it needs to recharge. So you need to rest. So this is me giving you permission to nap whenever you feel like you need to nap. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm like the biggest advocate for all the sleep, all the naps. And yeah, you just have an immense wealth of wisdom to share with the world. The thing is, and we're going to move into your strategy here. If you try to share your wisdom without being invited, oops, didn't mean to go there yet. If you try to share your wisdom before you've been invited, it's not going to be received with the impact that it could have. Your partner is a projector, and this makes so much sense. Yes, absolutely. The energy burst is so spot on. This used to drive me crazy, but now I have more grace for myself. Yes, 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 exactly. It's natural. It's the way that you were designed to work. So when you do have that energy, use it. Totally go do the things that you feel called to do or that you've been invited to do. And then frickin' rest, okay? You're allowed. 9-to-5 jobs are generally a little bit more challenging for projectors because they're not designed to have that sustainable energy to get them through a 9-to-5 workday. So again, if you're trying to share your wisdom or guide others without being invited to do so first, it's not going to be received with the same kind of impact that it would have if you waited for, it's like you're describing my partner. Yep, totally. Yeah, so your strategy, we'll go to it. Wait for an invitation. So this can have, preach, I hated my 9-to-5. You totally did, Audrey. It was not the right job for you. It's so true. Oh my gosh, it's making so much sense. Also, you guys, when I get on these calls, I get so sweaty. I don't know why I decided a long sleeve shirt was a good idea. So the idea of waiting for an invitation, what is your first thought? My projectors. If this is your first time hearing this, or if you've heard it before, what is / was your first thought with hearing that you need to wait to be invited? Waiting for you to type. Because again, you're not here to initiate. Most of us are not here to initiate. But similar to projectors, as you relax into your type, into your energy, into who you are at your very core, as you wait for an invitation, well, that stinks, but makes sense. But the thing is, if you can just trust yourself, trust the way that the world works, the way that energy works, the way that we were all designed to work off of each other's energy, work in sync with each other and flow with each other. Oh my gosh, life is going to feel so much better. It's going to be more enjoyable for you. You're going to be more successful and satisfied and have all the peace you want, right? And as you're waiting for invitations, you get to just practice whatever passions you want to do. Whatever projects, whatever hobbies, whatever work you want to do that just kind of sounds fun, you get to just kind of work on that. And then when you do that, you will be open to receiving a crap ton of invitations to share what you know, to share your wisdom, to be recognized, right? I mean, it makes sense. I noticed a lot more things, but not everyone wants to know what I noticed right away. Yes, I know. Yes, it's so true. You projectors have so much to share and people don't always want it yet. So if you continue trying to share all the things without being invited first, and again, practicing watching for an invitation, because I can almost bet that you get invited more than you realize. Because again, an invitation isn't always like, hey, I'm inviting you. Would you like to come? I would like to invite you to come share this thought with us today. It's not always going to be that formal. Most of the time, it's not going to be that formal. This is so my husband. Yep. Totally. Oh my gosh, you guys, my brother-in-law is a projector and holy crap, this man is so freaking smart. He has so much wisdom. Like every time I have a conversation with him and I'm asking him about stuff, you know, he blows my mind with all of the things that he knows. And when he's not talking, he's usually just kind of content to sit in the background and just observe what's going on. And he's just taking in all of the information so that when it's time for him to share that information, it's not only just the information that he took in, but it's more, right? Yes, definitely. I get asked to share every day, not always outright, but it's awesome. Yes. Oh my gosh, Audrey, if you want to share any examples of like other ways that you get invited to speak or to share to help others kind of get an idea, because again, yeah, it's usually not going to be a formal invitation. So just start practicing paying attention to what it means to be invited. What does it mean for you to be invited? Okay. When you're living in your highest expression, you're going to be really, really good at managing and directing others, guiding their energy, you know, whether it's in a strict manager kind of role or just in day-to-day life, right? You're super insightful. You're very intuitive. You're magnetic. You're super attractive to other people. Like they just want to be around you. And you're really good at focusing energy to accomplish really, really amazing things. And if you're living in your lower expression, you might be perceived, but you might judge yourself for being lazy. You're going to experience burnout, super sensitive. You might lack some self-awareness, and your not self theme is bitterness or irritation. It'll say on your thing, it'll say bitterness is your not self theme. I've heard other projectors say that it's more like irritation than bitterness. And that's another little sidebar with human design. Oftentimes the words that are used in human design are used kind of out of context, like the meaning of this. So like, for example, profiles, we're not going to be getting into profiles this week, but one of the profiles is called a martyr, which does not sound great, but it's actually a really good aspect to have in your chart. I mean, all of them are. Everything in your chart is a positive. Everything in your chart is a strength. Everything is a strength. Your chart doesn't have anything that's a weakness. I can guarantee you that. Okay, and then my projectors, go ahead and take a screenshot and then adjust these. And you guys, I would actually really love to see when you rewrite your affirmations, share them with us, because you might also inspire someone else to, you know, change their affirmations to something that makes a little bit more sense for them. And we can kind of just bounce off of each other's energy in this way. So share them in the Facebook group, share them on social media, tag me. I can share it on my stories. And I wasn't planning on saying that, but let's do that because that sounds really fun. Cool. I think that was everything I was going to say about projectors. Oh yeah, this was actually something that I found really cool that might be really helpful for you as well. So with generators and manifesting generators, we are constantly having opportunities to respond, right? Life is always giving opportunities to respond, like basically every moment of the day. That's not how it is with waiting for an invitation. Invitations can kind of come in spurts because of the way that your energy works. Because if you were constantly receiving invitations, you would burn out because you don't have that sustainable sacral energy, right? So because you need those periods of rest, you're going to receive a lot of invitations. You get to pick the ones that make sense for you. You follow through on those invitations, and then you have a period of rest, and then you get more invitations, right? So keep that in mind. So if you ever feel like you're getting annoyed that you're not getting any invitations right now, maybe that's just a sign that you need to get some rest and recover from burnout mode, okay? Let's see. So manifesting generator question. I'm supposed to just let my plans be known, but what if I get a veto on those plans? Ooh, so that is something that kind of comes back to your strategy as well. So as a manifesting generator, if you're sure that you got that green light from your sacral center, then, and you got vetoed on it, then you take it back through again. Like, okay, is it correct for me to do it anyway? Is it correct for me to like kind of ask yourself yes or no questions, right? Is it correct for me to continue anyways and deal with the repercussions? Or is it correct for me to wait? Or is it correct for me to have more of a discussion about this, right? So it all filters through your sacral center. So hope that helped. All right, manifestors, you guys, I hope that you guys are okay to hang out with me for another few minutes because we got manifestors and then we got reflectors. I'm moving through. And let me know if you have any questions too, for sure. Any manifestors in the house? Do we have any manifestors? Let me go check Facebook. I am not sure if we have any manifestors over there. Alma. Oh, that's right. Alma, you're a manifester. Ooh, LaFern, I'm not lazy. Yes, my projectors, you are not lazy. I love it. So manifestors, you are only 9 to 10% of the population, so not very many. And yet most of the world tries to function as manifestors. Sammy, your 5-year-old son, so cool. You manifestors are so cool. We're all really cool, let's face it. Okay, so manifestors, you are also an energy type. Alrighty. You're the initiators. You are like the only type that is here to initiate the things. Okay, you're the trailblazers. You're the change makers. You're here to initiate whatever you want to initiate. You just get to start something. You just get to do it. You are the one that begins the chain reaction of change. You're also really good at delegating. Delegation is one of your superpowers that is really important for you to utilize. Don't feel like you have to start something and then also continue all the way through, because that's not your design. Your design is to start it and delegate. Once you've lit the match, you light the match and then you hand it off to someone else. You can invite a projector to take on the rest. You can hand it to a generator or a manifesting generator or a reflector, you know, and then they get to decide if it's right for them. But basically, you take the match, pass it off whenever it's time. And you're also the informant. So this is the informing side of manifesting generators. So manifesting generators, pay attention. I'm going to talk more about the informing side, okay? So again, as you inform, as you speak out what you're going to be doing, clears the path ahead of you so that you can take the actions that are correct for you. You've got that defined throat center, and you also have an open sacral. So you have that defined throat. The throat center, again, we'll be going all of the centers on Wednesday, but this is the manifestation center. So having that defined center connected to a motor center, that's what makes you a manifestor. You get to speak the things out. You get to take the action. You get to do the things until it is no longer correct for you to do it anymore. And then you pass that torch, okay? So when you get an idea, you just get to do it. You get an idea and you follow your strategy and your authority and you get to just do it. Like, you don't have to wait to respond to something. You don't have to wait for an invitation, right? So yeah, and you might have sort of like this lone wolf kind of energy. Let me know if that, so Alma, I think, so is Alma the only manifestor here? I'm not seeing on Facebook that anyone's a manifestor. Although now that I think about it, I think some people who are watching the replay are manifestors. So, which is perfect. I won't ask too many questions then, but yeah, manifestors tend to have sort of this mysterious energy, like so the rest of us might look at a manifestor and be like, there's something different about them. I don't know. They're kind of mysterious. They've got a weird energy. Weird, right? And this is one reason why informing others of what you're about to be doing clears your path, because it sort of softens the impact of your energy. Because these manifestors, they just kind of come in trailblazing. They just come in doing the things. And it can be kind of shocking to everyone else, right? They just kind of come bowling in. Okay, here's what I'm doing. But when you inform others first, then it just sort of softens that blow. It sort of like softens your edges a little bit so that it's not so shocking. And then it makes it, again, easier for you to do those things, right? And again, this is so important. You're not asking for permission. You're not asking for advice. You're just kind of speaking it out. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be through your voice. It's definitely going to be more impactful and efficient if you use your actual voice, but you can also just send a text, or an email, or post about it on social media, whatever. Practice all the different ways. Have to hop off for a meeting. Love to think you would love you, sister. I'll send you the replay soon. Although I already talked about MGs. So, and she's also had a reading from me. So she knows all this pretty much, but, so let me know if that makes a little bit more sense with the informing. It's softening your impact a little bit for others. Everybody should get a reading. It's amazing. She's my sister. She has to say that. But yeah, just keep in mind, because a lot of the times my MGs and my manifestors, you might have this little bit of a fear, like, well, I don't want to tell other people what I'm going to do because I don't want them to tell me not to do it. I'm afraid that they're going to try to control me. I'm afraid that they're going to try to control what I'm doing. And they don't have that power because you have that initiation energy. So really recognize, and this will come when I show you your affirmations, just really recognize that you are the one in your power. You're not asking for permission. You are simply clearing your path by speaking it out. Okay. If you want permission, if you want feedback, if you want advice, that's totally fine. You absolutely can receive that. And then you get to decide if that advice makes sense for you, right? So when you're living in your higher expression, you're super energetic, you're driven, you're powerful, you're super influential and impulsive, and you've got that lone wolf, mysterious kind of energy about you. Excuse me, if you're living in your lower expression, you're going to be not a team player, right? You're going to be sort of just doing the things without letting anyone else in the loop. You're just got your head down, you're just doing your thing, you got your blinders on, right? You're going to be kind of secretive. You're going to feel some anger. Your anger, that's your not self theme. That's your indicator. That's your main indicator right there. Okay. You're going to feel irritable, self-absorbed, impatient, all of those kinds of things. So just let these be your check engine lights. Don't judge yourself for them. They don't mean anything about you. They're just your indicator lights. Okay. I like looking at informing as stating my intentions with the purpose of manifesting, if that helps anyone. I love that. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. That's because we're often told that in like the manifesting world, right? In the personal development world, the side of manifesting, people often say, speak it out into the universe, speak out your desires. So for manifestors, especially, if you're doing that, looking at it from that viewpoint, that perspective, yeah, that can totally make it make sense for you. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Here are your affirmations, my manifestors. So go ahead and take a screenshot, adjust them. But really, your homework today is just going to be adjusting your affirmations to make sense for you. And then, oh man, this is a whole other aspect of human design, but there's a lot of different ways you can go about using affirmations, whether it's speaking them out, meditating on them, visualizing them. Think about putting them through all of your senses and then decide what makes the most sense for you. Reflectors. I'm going to kind of breeze through this one because so far I don't believe I have any reflectors that are registered for this. So if you're a reflector, speak now or forever hold your peace. I'm still going to go through it though, because reflectors are wildly fascinating. They're only 1% of the population. Oops. 1 freaking percent. They're super rare. Gotta run, catch the rest on replay. Okay, cool. Awesome, Sheena. I'll get these replays sent out ASAP. So reflectors, first of all, reflectors are defined. So you look at all those 9 centers on your chart. All of them are either open or undefined. All of them. All of them. Isn't that crazy? So basically, so they're a non-energy type. And that means that you are open to basically infinite energetic amplification. And this will make more sense on Wednesday again when we go over the centers. But basically, reflectors, just like it says in their name, they're here to be a mirror for the collective, right? They're constantly just reflecting, sampling different energies, amplifying different energies, just kind of taking a taste of everything, seeing what it's like and putting it back out into the world. And the way that they determine if something is correct for them is by paying really close attention to when they feel good, like just a general feel good, a feeling of sort of delight almost. And again, they're just a mirror for the collective, essentially. That pure openness is so important to reflecting the health of the community, whether like on a small scale or a major scale, right? It could be just reflecting the health of your home, those in your home, or of your city, or, you know, if you're well known in a major way of like your country, you know. And it's such an ambiguous sort of thought. This is why I need to meet one. But I've heard of people who have worked with reflectors. You know, I've talked to others who have worked with reflectors, and it's just such a fascinating kind of energy. So their strategy is to wait an entire lunar cycle before making any big decisions. Because they don't have any definition in their chart, they don't have their own inner authority. So they have to, you know, when they are presented with a big question in their life. So obviously this doesn't make sense for like what to have for breakfast, right? Or what book to read next. With that, it's just like, does that feel good? Yeah, that feels good. I'm going to do that. But for something big like moving or getting a new job or getting married or, you know, anything like that, they need to wait a full 28 days and consistently, just regularly trying out new energies, like experiencing all of the things that are happening in their life throughout that 28 days to achieve that clarity. It's just like sifting through everything. So interesting. And also reflectors are going to be someone who talk a lot, because that helps them process everything that they're experiencing in their bodies, because everything they're experiencing does not originate from within themselves. It's originating from something external to them. So yeah, I just really need, if any of you ever meet a reflector, send them my way, because I want to meet them. When they're living in their highest expression, they're going to be super talkative, really passionate, super unique, really, really unique. We can see that, right? And they're going to reflect the health of their community. And what I mean by that, reflecting the health of their community, that can mean both like physical health, mental health, financial health, environmental health, all of the things, right? Because so kind of like with projectors, how you're so full of wisdom, so are reflectors, just that they cannot process it on their own, right? That's why they are so talkative, so that they can process through it. If they're living in their lower expression, they're going to feel highly sensitive, really disappointed. They're going to really feel like they need consistency when that isn't even correct for them. They're going to struggle to feel like they're grounded. They're going to feel clingy. And often that's going to come because they're trying to live the way that the world says that they're supposed to live. And in case we have any reflectors that happen to join in, affirmations. So, like I said earlier, your chart is only filled with strengths. I've had several people, oftentimes they'll come to me with their chart and be like, okay, this is my chart. I even actually had one person, I won't call her out, but one person, when I got on their reading, she was like, oh, so those open centers, what do I need to do to color them in? Like, how do I color those centers in? You don't. This is your chart. Your chart is this way. It's not going to change. It's not supposed to change. Don't try to change it, because the way that your chart is your strength. Open centers, undefined centers, defined centers, they're all strengths. They just work differently, okay? So we are a little over an hour now. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Are there any questions? This is probably a lot to take in on day one. This is usually how I run my courses like this, is to make the first day a little bit more front loaded, so that you have some time to kind of process it as we go through the rest of the course. So tomorrow and the next day won't be quite so information heavy, especially if you're brand new to human design. You might not even know what questions you have, and that's also okay. Loved it. Awesome, Laura. I'm so glad. Let me go check on Facebook, see if anyone there. And then also, I'll be talking more about this on Wednesday. Well, now I need to get a reading. Yes. Oh my gosh. And Audrey, I could do your reading in person. Just come over. She's my neighbor. She just lives right there. But this is the first time I'm announcing this publicly, you guys. I'm going to be doing a mastermind. So I will put a link for you to check it out if you don't want to wait until Wednesday to learn more about it. I will email out a link so you can go check it out. You can also get a reading from me if you want to go even more like personalized attention on your chart. Obviously, this week I am here to answer whatever questions come up for you, for sure. Yay, Audrey, sounds good. But yeah, so stick with me this week. I would say don't necessarily jump any guns yet. Get through this week with me. Get through tomorrow. Get through Wednesday. Ask me any questions. You can ask questions in the Facebook group. You can message me on Instagram. You can email me. All the things. I am here. Let me know what questions you have. Or if you just don't have any questions and you just have thoughts that you want to like. So my projectors, I'm inviting you to share your questions. My generators and manifesting generators. Does it feel good to you to ask some questions? Do you want to ask me any questions? Do you have any thoughts that you would like to share? Would love more info on the mastermind. Awesome. Okay, I'll send you a link. How does transit overlay work if our defined centers never change? I know nothing of this. LOL. I don't mind a super skim of the surface kind of answer. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know a ton about transit overlay because that's more on the astrology side of things. And I'm not super well versed on that yet. I do plan to be, but I don't have an answer for that yet, but I can certainly look into that. In fact, I'm gonna take a little picture of your question so that I can look into that for you, Antri. So thank you for asking that. Cool. Okay, I will send out information about the mastermind. I'll just send the link and then let me know if you have any questions that are burning. Otherwise, I am more happy to answer those on Wednesday because I don't want to overwhelm you with too much information. So just know that that will be coming. For now, practice your strategy. Let everything come back to your strategy and practice those affirmations. Share your affirmations. I'm really excited to hear how you guys switch those up and how you decide to utilize them. Let me know if you end up meditating on them or visualizing them or speaking them out loud in a mirror or setting a reminder on your phone to go off 3 times a day with those affirmations. There's an endless amount of ways to go about this. So, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and close out then. I have kept you guys long enough. Like I said, I always keep the first day a little bit more information heavy. So hopefully the rest of the week, I won't be so word vomity on you. Awesome. Okay, I love you guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye. I can end this thing.